Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with some more Kewl Toon. I've been playing this deck a lot since its release, a lot more than I play a lot of other new releases, for a couple of reasons. One, I really like this deck. I think it's really cool in skill testing, and the skill testing is actually the other reason why I've been playing it a lot. I really just want to get better at this deck. So our opponent's going to lead with Draw Phase Perulia. We can threaten with the Gamma, but they're going to chain Ash Blossom. Actually not a bad deal for us in the grand scheme of things. This Gamma was able to bait a hand trap and is still in our hand. Gamma is also not once per turn, by the way, meaning that if our opponent does choose to activate a monster effect here, with no monsters on the field, we can activate Gamma again. That's why I use Synchro Overtake to add Mix rather than special summon it. I wanted to bait and see if they would fire off a Joel and Lockbird, but I imagine my opponent, even if they had something like that, already knows that I have the Gamma and probably wouldn't walk into it. But either way, we're going to reveal Rotary, give them a draw as we normal summon Recco. Add Clip, we're going to go Recco plus Rotary into the Track Maker here. Alright, now Rotary, we're going to go Chain Link 1, Track Maker, Chain Link 2. They're going to chain Imperm on the Track Maker, which I'm not really concerned with, because I really wanted the Rotary resolve to resolve more than anything else. Alright, so we look at their hand, we see Branded Fusion, we see Phimena, and we see Malulu. It's actually a really good hand on their part, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to play through, but not impossible. We do already have the Clip, so that's nice to have that bit of follow-up. And we're going to add JJ Kewl Toon, because I'm going to activate the JJ Kewl Toon here, and then use it to tribute the Track Maker in order to special summon a Mix. Now we're going to go Mix in order to add Q, and I'm actually going to tune the Mix on board with the Q in hand. I'm basically trying not to give them any more draws with Perulia, because I've already seen their hand. I don't want to have any more new information. Alright, so the Q is going to reveal Phimena plus Dracotail Phyruxal, which is the light level 2 one they send off of Branded Fusion. Now remember, our opponent's got Branded Fusion, Phimena, and Malulu in their hand. So given they already have access to Phimena, I'm not really as concerned about it. I'm actually going to banish the Dracotail Phyruxal. That way they can't send this off of the Branded Fusion and just get to set Ketu or Rahu from their deck for free off of it. And then we put Phimena on the bottom just to keep them off of Dracotail names. So we don't know what they drew for turn, but they're going to go activate Malulu, and they're going to fuse Malulu with, Phimena to fuse, Malulu with the Retaliating Sea, which ended up being their top deck. So unfortunately, the Malulu getting fused away is going to be a little bit awkward, because I pretty much have to chain Remix here, but whatever I summon off of Remix is going to get negated, because Malulu's negate does not target. It just negates one card on the field after you set a Dracotail spell or trap on resolution. So, you know, I can go Remix for Q, summon Recco, sync Recco with Mix in order to make the RS. However, this RS is going to get negated. But it's not the end of the world because I still have Clip plus Recco, so I can make another RS here. They're going to set the Ketu Dracotail, which is pretty expected, as well as negating my RS, adding back Ash Blossom and Phimena off their Arthelion. Now I'm going to go Recco effect, pop the face down as well as Mix to pop the Arthelion. This was a lot of the reason why I summoned an RS here, even though I knew it would get negated. Not only can I summon another one here in a moment, but again, we get both the Mix and Recco effect. So they don't get Rahu, because I'm going to pop it, and then we're going to get rid of the Arthelion too. I'm also going to use Clip on the same Chain Link, because I don't want to do it when Arthelion's already in the graveyard, because then it just revives. So here is another RS. Mix is going to pop the Arthelion. Recco pops the set Ketu. Clip is going to rip the, looks like, Chaos Star Source Dragon. They're going to activate Branded Fusion. We're going to chain the second RS effect, and they're going to concede because they know at this point, they know that I know that all they have left in hand is Phimena plus Ash Blossom. So they can't make any more plays with those this turn. The Phimena doesn't have another monster to fuse with on my turn. All they're going to be able to do is Ash Blossom, which of course is not going to be enough to stop me. So yeah, even though the first RS getting negated looked like a major bummer, it's really important to just keep in mind the grand scope of what you're able to do and not just focus on getting hung up on one of your plays getting stopped, right? It doesn't matter that our first RS was negated, because I knew as I was making it that I could make a second RS and that this was still going to pop their whole field. Okay, there's our first tool. Let's go into the next one. Okay, this time we're going second up against a 60-card White Forest deck that's featuring a Fiendsmith engine. It's featuring Dark Simorgh as well as a tech card, which is kind of neat. As mentioned, we're going second. We open a couple of pretty solid hand traps and the Cool Tune clip to potentially make some turn 0 plays as well. I'm going to fire off the Gamma here instead of just using Effect Veiler. There's like actually a few different reasons to use Gamma here. One, it's always good to use Gamma when possible. Not necessarily like first thing right away, but if it's between Gamma and Veiler, like make use of the Gamma while you have nothing on the field. Because if I use Clip later and still have the Gamma in hand, then I won't be able to use Gamma. On top of that, though, we're getting rid of the Sylvie, which is a tuner monster, which is going to make it a lot harder for our opponent to have follow-up plays. And not only that, the third reason is that we can actually use Effect Veiler with the Recco in our hand if they negate Recco when I normal summon it. Alright, there goes their Sylvie, and they're just going to pass right over to us. Gamma and Driver get banished. We're going to top deck Ash Blossom, which is fantastic. And a normal summon Recco, they don't have a response, so we're just going to add the Rotary here. Rotary is going to reveal Mix, and then we're going to normal summon Mix, and Mix F in order to add Q. And now I'm going to tune the Recco with the Rotary in order to make Trackmaker. Of course, want to take a peek at my opponent's hand and see if they have anything to stop us here. We're going to go Chainlink 1 Rotary, Chainlink 2 Trackmaker in case they have Ash Blossom. They don't. So we're going to add the Cool Tune. Although, to be fair, if they had Ash Blossom, they would have used it already. It was very brief there, but the only real relevant thing in their hand was Evenly Matched. It was Fableberry, Evenly Matched. I saw a spell card. Yeah, sorry that went by quickly, but all the Evenly Matched really means, though, is that if we're going to OTK, we have to do it, like, in one move, like an actual OTK. So here I'm going to get some extra summons for the Q and then another Recco. Going to make Zalen with the Ash Blossom in hand because I know I'm not going to need it. And then we can go Zalen plus Cool Tune Q in order to make the Cool Tune back to back. Now, even if I wasn't OTKing, this line of making Zalen into back-to-back is still really nice to do. And I think in a later game here that I'm going to show you, we'll do it again. Because basically, again, even if I wasn't OTKing, then on an opponent's follow-up turn, assuming they didn't have a board breaker like Evenly, they activate a monster effect, and then I can use back-to-back to revive Zalen. And now I have access to the negate again. But of course, back-to-back enables itself and all my other tuners to attack twice, so we can simply swing in for lethal here. Yeah, like I said, that back-to-back Zalen interaction is pretty important. In fact, like I said, I'm gonna have this next duel that I show you be the one where we do that again. So this game is actually going to be from the Dual Triangle event. The other games that I'm going to show you, or that I have showed you already, I think I have one more after this too, those are going to be from regular Ranked Ladder. This is the one game from Dual Triangle up against Sky Striker, because I feel it does really well demonstrate that interaction I mentioned in the last duel of back-to-back into Zalen. We're going to go normal summon Cool Tune Mix in order to add Q, since we have the JJ Cool Tune in hand. They're going to fire off a Fulos in response to activating Cool Tune, the field spell anyway. We're going to Ash Blossom their Fulos here, and it doesn't seem like they have another one, which is obviously going to be pretty good for us. Extra normal summon the Q effect in order to summon Rotary. Now we're going to tune Q plus Rotary, and of course make the Trackmaker. Now here, whenever I do this sequence, here's how I like to do it. Chainlink 1 Q, Chainlink 2 Rotary, Chainlink 3 Trackmaker. Because again, if our opponent had Ash Blossom, they definitely would have used it already. And this way, we get to see their hand and then decide what we want to banish from the top of their deck. Putting Trackmaker at the end as Chainlink 3 also chain blocks the two effects that'll actually give you information from Rotary and Q. And since we already have the field spell, we can just grab a couple of copies of Cool Tune Synchro. Alright, Rotary's going to reveal the hand. It went by very quickly. I'm sorry about that. MST, I keep missing that. MST was one of the cards because they're going to be on a Radiant Typhoon engine. I know that Dark Hole, I think, was in there as well. Or was it Raigeki? Some amount of board wipe. Again, sorry about that. But we'll see their hand here in a moment as they play out their turn. Okay, Q is going to reveal Raigeki and Mobilize. I'm going to banish the Mobilize because this card is really scary. And then we're going to put the Raigeki on the bottom because I don't want them to get a free board wipe. Again, I think they might have... I thought they had a Dark Hole, but I might be thinking of a different game I played against Sky Striker in the Dual Triangle. Okay, going to set my Cool Tune Synchros and pass. Okay, it's Jamming Waves is one of the cards in hand. And then MST, right. So they can pop both of our back row. We can just chain both the back row to Cool Tune synchros. And this is why I didn't really bother making Zalen during my turn. You'll notice I kind of just summoned this Recco and then passed. Because I was just going to make the Zalen here anyway in response to them trying to pop our back row. Not only can we make the Zalen, but then as mentioned, we can also, after adding Recco, tune into the back-to-back. Now, granted, Sky Striker doesn't do that many monster effects, but at the same time, they're going to have to do some at some point. We're going to keep banishing their Sky Striker spells with our Q, then I'm going to special summon the Clip right away and tune it with the Recco that I just added in order to make a Cool Tune RS, because I know they have Engage, right. One of their cards in hand is actually going to be Engage. Clip eats a Kagari, that's kind of whatever. They're going to triple attack, and they actually did the hand reveal, which I was really surprised by and completely fine with. Yeah, I don't care if they put back Veiler here. Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, RS is going to negate the Engage here. And the last card, I believe, is the top deck. We don't know. And it ends up being a second Engage. So they're going to end up using this Engage in order to add the Ray, which I'm more than happy with, actually, because we've already got the back-to-back. Again, even if it's Sky Striker, they're going to have to use monster effects at some point. Alright, here's the Kagari. We're, of course, going to chain back-to-back, and as mentioned a couple of times now, we get to revive the Zalen with it. So we didn't actually lose out on the negate by making the back-to-back here. Now, I don't really have a way to respond necessarily, right, to spell effects, and then with another effect so I can negate with Zalen. So this Engage is going to resolve. They're going to end up adding a Widow Anchor, and then they get a draw. Okay, here is the Widow Anchor. They're going to use it on my back-to-back, which I was a little surprised. I guess they wanted to be able to resolve a monster effect without me, you know, being able to get something back again. Then they're going to pop RS, leaving my Zalen alone, before linking into Hayate. Battle phase, Hayate gets to swing, put a card in the graveyard. It's going to be Limniscate. Now they're going to link again into Kaina, I believe? Yes. Now this will make it so that the Zalen will not be able to attack next turn, although we have ways of getting around that. And then finally they're going to make the Shizuku, which will let them add during the end phase. They don't set anything, which is really, really good for us. And they're going to add Linkage, which doesn't do anything in hand during our turn. So I feel really good going into this turn here. And Duelist Genesis is a phenomenal top deck. I'm not using this in my ladder build, although I might end up experimenting with it. This was only in my dual triangle deck, but basically this is a fantastic spell card extender. If you have a tuner in your field or graveyard, add a Synchro spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Here I added Synchro Overtake, but this can also add to Cool Tune Synchro, being a spell card that has Synchro in the name. Alright, there's the Overtake. Now we're going to activate Synchro Overtake, reveal RS, and special summon Recco. Recco gets to activate here. We're going to add back Rotary from the graveyard. Now I'm going to activate Rotary, extra normal summon the Mix that's in my hand. Mix F is going to add a Q from deck to hand. Now we're going to tune the Recco plus the Rotary to make another Track Maker. And then we're going to activate the Rotary effect. We're going to take a peek at their hand, as well as get 2 searches. Although here, I actually probably should have used the other effect in order to put Ray that's in their graveyard on bottom of their deck, because I already know pretty much everything that's in their hand. I just kind of wanted to see if there was another hand trap, but yeah, in hindsight, putting Ray on bottom of the deck would have saved me a lot of headaches here. Well, not a lot, actually. We're still going to win just fine. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so it was Ray, was it Eagle Booster, some random Sky Striker spell, and then the Linkage. Nothing I'm worried about. Alright, here we're going to use Zalen plus Ghost Spell to make a second back-to-back. I only play one back-to-back in my ladder build, but for Dual Triangle I had 2. Alright, here is the Ray, which we're going to battle into. They're going to use Ray's effect. We're going to get to use back-to-back since they used Ray's effect. And for the second time in one duel, we're going to revive the Zalen. Alright, here is the Ace 0. They're going to go Ace 0, we can go Chainlink 2 back-to-back, and then that means Chainlink 3 Zalen to negate and destroy the Ace 0. Of course, I figured if they summoned something that activated on summon, we could just do it this way in order to get around it. We can even add back the Ash Blossom with the back-to-back, just to be cute. But it's not necessary. We can simply swing in for lethal with just the back-to-back and Zalen. So that was a much more, even though it was dual triangle, really the only difference for Kewl is the loss of Crackle and what, like one copy of Clip and another card I can't remember. But yeah, no, I think this is still a great example of utilizing back-to-back, not just as an OTK tool, but as a means of reviving Zalen and acting as disruption during the opponent's turn. And also imagine if they would have actually been on a synchro deck, the back-to-back, synchro deck rather, the back-to-back floodgate effect would have played a huge role there. Okay, there's our gameplay. Let me show you the deck list for my ladder build, and then we'll finish off here. Okay, so here is my current list for Kewl for ranked ladder. I think it's pretty much the exact same one I shared last time. I'm looking at the extra deck here to see if there were any differences. I might have taken out SP Little Knight and then put it back in at some point, but VODS Omri Terra is here too. This card is not just great for getting in some niche OTKs, but being able to make level 8 or just any kind of synchro tuner monster in general when your opponent's got a back-to-back or RS on the field, I feel like is really important. And if your opponent's got a back-to-back in play, it's actually not that hard to then make your own back-to-back using Omri Terra and then like one of your level 2s in hand. But just something to keep in mind, I suppose. Yeah, no, I've really been liking this particular layout, having like max copies pretty much of every card, except for like Driver and JJ Kewl, which are only needed as one-ofs anyway, but this build has been very consistent. I have slightly considered Ghost Mourner, which is relatively popular. It's funny, I thought this was a holdover from Paper Play when I saw this in a lot of builds because of the life point damage effect, but they don't actually do life points for Paper Play anymore, do they? I think this is more to counter the mirror match, but I'm not the most thrilled about Ghost Mourner. It's just a little bit limited as far as when it can actually negate monsters, only when they are special summoned. I kind of like the Ghost spell a lot more. Also counters the mirror pretty well, stuff like Remix especially, as well as a lot of other matchups, but in turn is also a lot more flexible of when it can be used. But I think Ghost Mourner is also really good. I have kind of thought about putting in some more deltas though, or Cypher Gear deltas, not more. This is Gamma obviously, but just to have a couple more options with like Mix and Clip. It sounds kind of weird, but I kind of want to go down to 2 Mix, keep 3 Clip, put in a Delta, I don't know, maybe drop one of the Ghost spells for a second Delta. But then again, if I'm cutting one of the level 2 Kewl monsters, I'm not going to need the Cypher Gears quite as much. So yeah, this iteration right here has been working very well for me, and I think for the time being, I'm going to stick with playing like all of these 3 ofs, right? And same for the extra deck. Second Zalen would be nice, but isn't really needed. I don't even really know what I'd take out for it, honestly. I like everything here. Omri Terra and Baron, I haven't really made these yet, but I think pretty much everything else here, except for maybe Typhon. I know I've made SP at least once, but most things I've made here at least once. Even like the second Loudness War has come up for me, so I guess that's another pretty cuttable extra deck target though. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the deck for the time being. So as always, want to thank you so very much for watching. Super appreciate the support. As always, gonna move on now to the outro and thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.